if there was any myth that you want to dispel about Louisiana Creole, what would that be?
Ooh, this is a big one currently online, and it's mostly just people believing that Louisiana Creole is a descendant of Haitian Creole.
Hmm,
It's not.
it's not. In today's video, I'll be talking to my guests about some fun facts about Louisiana and Louisiana Creole. You are watching For the Culture on CharisMaggietv. What up everyone, Charis Maggie here and welcome back to my channel and welcome to another episode of For the Culture, where I encourage you to submerge yourself in culture and live meaningful lives. Today, as you can see by the title, I am here with a guest. Finally, we got somebody to represent Louisiana, and we're going to be talking about Louisiana Creole today. So my guest is Taalib, and he is actually a celebrity in my eyes, I would say. He has a podcast that talks about Louisiana Creole. He's doing like awesome things helping to preserve the language. And I'm actually going to leave a couple links in the description for y'all to go check out if you're interested in his podcast. He interviews like musicians and just people overall who are trying to preserve the culture through music, poem, all of these things. So thank you again for joining me, Talib.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so everybody already knows by now that I have done a couple videos about different Creole languages, and Louisiana Creole, we definitely needed to have them featured. But I'll be honest, I don't know a lot about Louisiana. All I know is y'all have a very rich culture, really nice food, so I need to get there. And the Louisiana Purchase, when that comes to mind, I think Louisiana, of course. So I want you to help me sum up. If anyone wants to visit Louisiana, what should they expect in terms of the diverse culture?
Um, I would say expect Louis when you come to South Louisiana, expect it there to be multiple cultures within the exact same regions. When we do talk about Creole culture, uh, I do believe that we don't talk about it in the ugh, I can't even speak me, and the wide in the vision that it actually is here in Louisiana, because you have New Orleans, their culture is a little bit different.
Hmm.
Southwest Louisiana, there's a little bit different. Baton Rouge, a little bit different, and Natchitoches, a little bit different.
Okay,
So you're
cool.
gonna get a taste of everything.
Of everything. Okay, I like that. And of course, all the food we already know. The food is great. What are some dishes that you would say if anyone was to visit, like must have dishes that they should try?
Boudin, gratin, cracklings, gum,
Okay.
gumbo, of course. Everybody gotta go get the gumbo. Just make sure the roux is not too light. I like
Hmm.
darker roux. Jambalaya, étouffée, sauce
Oh,
piquant.
wow. Wow, I'm getting hungry. Okay, cool. Because it's on my bucket list. I've always said I wanted to visit. So definitely it's good to just have an idea of what to expect. But talking more a bit of like the history. I know many people probably just know about the history because of like the Louisiana Purchase, which I know very little about. So from your understanding or from your knowledge, can you explain a bit of the culture before the Louisiana Purchase and like that change after the Louisiana Purchase?
So before the settled Louisiana, Louisiana was a French colony. It was founded in 1682, and then after the French and Indian War, the Treaty of Fontainebleau would transfer Louisiana to the Spanish, and will be a Spanish colony all the way up until 1800. Now, within the Spanish colony, they tried to Hispanicize the area by bringing in more Spanish speakers, but that didn't really turn out well because a lot of them just integrated within the French way of life and Creole way of life here in Louisiana. But we do have some that still speak their Spanish language, but they're Creoles themselves. Um, but more French speakers would start coming, and more people from Caribbean and France and other French speaking areas, and some Creole speaking areas as well.
Mhm.
Um, then of course, in 1800, that's when Spain gives it back to France, and we're a French colony for 3 years.
Mm.
Nobody really knows what's going on. And then as soon as we become a French colony, we just get sold to the United States in 1803.
Oh, okay. And what was the catalyst for that?
So, like, the reason why we got sold, and it's mostly what we're taught in school, is that Napoleon, he was basically losing the war in Haiti and had to fight the war in Europe. And he needed money. So he ended up selling Louisiana to the United States to get money so he can fight the war in Europe.
Oh, okay, got you. And so then in terms of the language, we're going to definitely talk about the language a bit more. Did that have any effect on the language that was spoken in Louisiana after that, seeing that now they were sold to the US, who are now like Anglophones?
For a long time period, no.
Mm.
You don't really see a large influx of Anglo Americans into the region until around the 1830s. And then that's when they start taking over control, and start pushing their ideology and their way of living. Because
Mm.
they didn't like Creoles when they first got into the area, and Creoles didn't like Americans. Even still today, when you talk to older French and Creole speakers, they'll say, "Mon pas américain, mon pas étranger." I'm not American. I'm not a foreigner. But as
Mm.
younger folks, we see things a little bit different since we grew up in this post. I wouldn't say post Americanization period because we're still in Americanization,
Mm.
but we grew up in it more than say our grandparents or stuff like that.
True. Okay. So, in terms of like the language itself, so I know there are like two or there are various types of languages spoken, but I think from online I saw there's like Louisiana Creole and then there's like Louisiana French
Yes,
Creole or something. Okay.
you
What
have
are the
Louis,
difference?
you have Louisiana French, you have Louisiana Creole. When it
Mm.
comes to difference, it's mostly grammar. So 99% of the words that are in Louisiana Creole are shared with Louisiana French. Now, the reason why we call Louisiana Creole a different language is because grammatically it is different. It's mostly takes most of its aspects from West African languages, especially from the Senegambian region. Now, in like, so if I was to say I have $5, that would be like j'ai cinq piastres in Louisiana French, but in Louisiana Creole is Mogan cinq piastres. Now that grammatical structure is the same, but the words that
Mm.
you use for I have are different. The mo is a pronoun. Usually mo would be me,
Mm.
and direct pronoun, but for Louisiana Creole, it's a pronoun.
Okay, cool. So is it like, so I know like for other like regions, usually when we have languages, they're going to be like different ways it's spoken. Like if you go up north, if
Oh
you
yeah.
go up south, like that's the same for like both of them, like Louisiana Creole and Louisiana French Creole.
So if you go to a different town, may that if that town's like 5 miles away from you, you go to that town, they're gonna be speaking a little bit different.
Yeah. Five
Every
miles away.
single town, every single town has a different way of speaking. But when it comes to Louisiana Creole, I actually did a episode with Dr. Nathan Winnie, and he's a specialist on Louisiana Creole here in the state. He was saying that if you go to Point P, they got some Creole speakers over there that would not say ape, they would say e. So if I was to say ma sœur la kori là-bas, they would say ma sœur le kori là-bas for my sister. She's going there.
Hmm. Interesting. Wow. Okay. So then how do people like how does it work then, because you said like you can go 5 miles and it's a different, so how easy or difficult is it for people to then kind of shift or like get used to that change?
It's pretty easy. It's
Hmm.
just once you get over there, it's like European, not European. It's like British English versus American English,
Ah, yes.
or AAVE in general.
Yeah, okay, cool. All right, so we're going to talk about the language, getting to know a bit more about it. So I know another word for it is Kouri-Vini.
Kouri-Vini.
Kouri-Vini. So can you give us a bit more explanation as to why that's another word for the language?
So surprisingly, when I was growing up, I never even knew that word.
Yeah.
When when I became around the age of 16 and I actually was online one day and I saw Kouri-Vini. I'm like, what is this? So I talked to my uncle. I was like, hey, uncle, uh, you think I should be speaking Kouri-Vini? He's like, Kouri-Vini? No, that's that Creole from Palmbro and Sicilia. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, Kouri-Vini, now that I know more about it, Kouri-Vini, that's the way that French speakers in those regions and like Palmbro and Sicilia was separating French from Creole. Because in
Mm.
Kouri-Vini, you say Kouri to go, which is different from French, which is to run. And then you say Vini, like to Vini, mo Vini, instead of tu viens or je viens.
Mhm. Oh, okay. Got you. All right. So we're going to get into the language, of course. So before we go into you telling, like, teaching me some of like the basics of it, what are some languages, in your opinion or observation, would you say are similar to it? And what languages have you identified? You mentioned some earlier, but that you have to identify that makes up the language itself.
Languages that are similar, Mauritian Creole, Reunion Creole,
Hmm.
French Guiana, their Creole. Uh, Long time ago, Haitian Creole, but since their Creole developed in like an isolate,
Mm-hmm.
it's a little bit different now,
Different.
which is why if they speak slow, we can understand them. But if they speaking real fast, yeah, you're gonna have to say that in English. Languages that made up Louisiana Creole, French. That's the first off. You have Point Vingt Santonge, regional language, which is why we have that AP marker.
Okay.
Um, like most of those regional languages on the western part of France, going into the Atlantic Ocean. Then you have the African languages, which influence mostly the grammar and the pronunciation, such as those Mande languages. I just don't know off the top of my head which ones because
Mm.
we don't know.
Yeah, it's one of those things trying to figure out which ones. Yeah.
All we know is the language families.
Mm-hmm. Got you. Okay, awesome. So the fun part, we're going to be learning. Well, I'm going to be learning some Louisiana Creole. So starting with the very basics, like personal pronouns. Knowing to say I, she, him, all of that.
So I would be mo.
Mo. Okay.
Some people say moi, but it's a little bit rare nowadays.
Mm.
For you, it would be to or
To
ti.
or T. Okay.
For y'all, it'll be vous autres, zot
Is the vuzot one word?
is one word.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
For we, it'll be nous zot, and then some people do say zot.
Oh, for we.
Hmm.
Oh, interesting. And then she and he?
Li.
Oh, Lee. Okay. Is it the same as well?
It can also be li, and it can also be sa.
Oh, okay. So we have, let me see if I can remember. Mo,
Hmm.
T, or is it to? Yeah, to.
To.
Nu or nuzot.
Hmm.
Um, zot. No, vuzot, vous.
Yeah.
And did we do they?
Mm-mm.
Oh, what's they?
Yeah.
Yay. Oh, okay. And yay. Okay, how did I do?
You did good.
Okay, good, good, good. So then now that we've done the personal pronoun, what about possessive? So we can know to say my sister or my brother or my food. Don't touch my food.
So the first one for my would be mo.
Mo.
Um, then for yours, it'll be to.
To. Okay.
For ours, it would be no or nuzot.
Hmm.
For y'all's, it'll be vous or vousot.
Mm-hmm.
And then for them, it'll be ye. Well, for theirs, it'll be ye. And then for he, her, his, and its, so.
Oh, so everything seems to be the same as the personal pronoun except for the she, he, and it part. Okay, easy enough. I like easy and simple. Okay. So let's do a little bit harder now. What if I wanted to say good morning? Yeah, let's do some salutations. So good morning.
Bon matin.
Bon matin?
Mhm.
Oh, bon matin. Okay. Good evening.
Bonsoir.
Bonsoir. Oh, okay. Good night.
Bonne nuit et
Bonne
bonsoir.
nuit. Okay, all right. Easy enough because I'm recognizing some similarities between other ones that I've done. So I think by now I can say I'm a baby pro. Let's say. So then, if I wanted to say my name is Maggie, how would I say that?
Mon nom c'est Maggie.
Oh, mon nom c'est Maggie.
Mhm.
Hmm, that is easy. I think I'm going towards Louisiana Creole a bit more in terms of another one to try and learn after I've mastered Haitian Creole because it's very simple. I like that. How would you ask someone their name?
Uh, you could say quoi c'est ton nom? Qui c'est ton nom? Qui c'est ton nom? Comment il appelle toi?
Oh, so there are three different ways.
Oh, there's multiple ways.
Oh, multiple. Oh, okay. Would it also depend on like generations? Like an older folk might say it a different way, and like if it's informal versus formal.
Uh, Not necessarily.
Mm.
Especially since we have a lot of learners today,
Mm-hmm.
it's becoming a more mixed.
Mm. Okay. All right. Good to know. All right. So I hope I'm not forgetting. Ooh, the negations, of course. So how would I say, like, I don't know? Like, let's do that first one. I don't
Mo,
know.
mo pas connaît.
Mopaco. See, I'm already loving Louisiana Creole, man. Like, let's go. How would I say, I don't have it?
Mo pas gain ça.
Mopa against. Okay, I think I'm ready for this. So, which is going to bring us to the last part of the video where you're going to quiz me to see if I can understand what you're saying. So, I'm going to try and use a little bit of the knowledge I have and see if I can understand.
Okay. First one, chien sala, lit rouge.
Okay, this dog hair, it's red.
That dog.
Oh, that dog. Ah, chien salad. Okay. So how would you say this dog here?
Chien sila.
Ah, okay. Did I get it right that he's red?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Another one.
Il était barré la porte à ce matin.
Go again?
Il était barré la porte à ce matin.
Is that like he locked the door this morning?
Not he,
She?
not she,
It?
not it.
Okay, say the first word again.
Yeah,
Oh, yay, they locked the door?
they locked the door this morning.
Okay. Okay. And one more.
One more. Mon pas connaît Yulié, mais mon connaît il était là avec mon label.
One more time.
Mon pas connaît Yulié, mais mon connaît il était là avec Bleu. Mon pas connaît Yulié, mais mon connaît il était là avec mon label.
Okay. So it's something like I don't know if they were here something, but I knew they were here with something.
Close, yeah.
Close. All right, help me out with this one. What was it?
I don't know where he is, but I do know that he was with my girlfriend.
What is girlfriend?
Or I say mon label. You could say you
Monabelle.
could say mon belle, mon négresse.
Oh, I like that. Monabelle. Okay, that's beautiful. Um, Okay, so I think we can say I'm on my way. I just need to practice some more for sure. And I'm definitely seeing some similarities based on the video I did before with Mauritian curl. I could see some similarities. So I think it made it a bit easier for me to also guess what you were saying. So this proves, y'all, the more curls you know, the more you can kind of decipher what they're saying and figure it out. So before we leave, if there was any myth that you want to dispel about Louisiana Creole, what would that be?
Ooh, this is a big one currently online, and it's mostly just people believing that Louisiana Creole is a descendant of Haitian Creole.
Mm,
It's not.
it's not.
Louisiana Creole actually was not influenced by Haitian Creole. And we can tell that by just the history of the language, documents that was written about the language,
Mhm.
and people who actually were of Haitian descent in Louisiana and how they spoke in Creole.
And I believe by all of us seeing the examples that were given, like I think it's pretty clear as well. Because even like the personal pronouns, everything like very different from what Haitian Creole would be. So yeah.
But in the past, because we have actually let me see. So we have this book, Nos hommes nos histoires by Rudolph Lucien Dedon. And he writes in the book there are three classes of Creoles of color in Louisiana. There are the ones who are born in Louisiana, they're the ones who come from Saint Domingue, and then there's the ones who come from Martinique, and they all speak the same language. Now, this was written in around 1911. And around that time, Louisiana Creole and Haitian Creole are actually quite close because there was a song called Cher Mon L'aime Toi, and that's a Haitian song. In Louisiana, we would say Cher Mon L'aime Toi.
Interesting. So when did the change happen then? What happened that it got changed?
That I really don't know.
Mm,
I would most likely say it's probably because there wasn't that many French speakers as there were here.
mm.
And since we always were near French speakers the whole entire time, we didn't really diverge from that language as much.
Got you. Makes sense. Okay. Wow. Well, I learned a lot, and I hope that my audience also learned a lot. Where can they actually find you to keep up with some of the work that you're doing?
You can find me on Instagram at Taugust with a E 5678, or on Twitter with the exact same name.
I'll put it on the screen for y'all to make it easy. Awesome. And of course, again, as I mentioned, link will be in the description. He has a podcast that you can check out to see the rest of his work. Let us help to support our community. You know, the whole point of this series was to help to not only showcase the languages, but show that there are people out there who are trying to preserve it. And there are resources out there if anyone wants to get started in learning, getting back to their history through language. This is like, I think the best rebellion we can do for ourselves is going back to what we would know as our indigenous languages. So I thank you again for joining me today, Taalib.
Thank you for having me.
Awesome. And to my viewers, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.